what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Battlefield Project podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Rhoda, and we are the podcast for people who understand that life is a battle and only the strong will thrive. I'm joined by my good buddy here, Ryan the Lion Vo, who I'm going to introduce in a minute. But before I do, I have one favor to ask of everybody listening to this episode and any episode that you might be catching at some point. If you're getting something out of it, any kind of value, whether it be for yourself or you think, hey, you know, my friend or family member might benefit from hearing this message, please share this episode with them. That's the whole point of this podcast, is really to plant those seeds of inspiration, to let everybody out there know that no human being goes through life completely untouched. We all have our own battles. Some of them we fight on a daily basis, some of them come and go, but everybody's fighting battles at some point. So the difference between the happy people, successful people in life, and the people who are just kind of, you know, dragging their feet through life are the successful, happy people. They fight their way through those battles, and we don't play the victim card. So I do my best to bring on some guests here, shine a light on them, and let them share some stories about battles that they've been through and then how they've overcome those battles, and basically the life that they're living now because they had the courage and fortitude to fight those battles and win those battles. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my buddy here, Ryan. Ryan Van Orden is an entrepreneur and visionary leader who has started and scaled over 9 successful businesses. His focus is on maximizing growth, utilizing proven formulas for exponential scalability and sustainability. He believes that anything is possible and there is no situation that can hold you back from true harmony and success. I love this part. Do lion shit is his tagline, and he lives by this mantra: to be capable of great and powerful things, but wasted is a true tragedy. Ryan, man, thanks for being on the show, brother. Appreciate having you here.
Hey man, thanks. I appreciate you, bro. Fellow lion.
Right? Yeah, we got different versions of the logo, but we both got the t-shirts on, the metal signs in the background. I love it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, it's funny because I was supposed to read an email telling me what I was going to talk about for this episode, and I didn't. So it kind of leaves me to freestyle, which I'm, not it's something that I've done quite often in my life. So I want to give as much value as I can here. And so I have a couple of things that I think I've gone through that can 100% help somebody out there who was in my position. So for me, when I was younger, I always knew that I had something in me that was a little bit different. When I was a kid, I got picked on a lot. I remember the first time that I was I think it was first grade is when I first actually went to school and first actually started meeting other human beings in the world. And I grew up in a home with my father where, we were brought up, faith-based and, loving and all that sort of stuff. So when I went to school, I remember there was a kid who I will not say his name. But we went out to recess and he had come up to me and he said, hey man, you want to be my friend? And I was like, what? A friend? Hell yeah, dude. What's up? I'm Ryan. And he goes, cool, man. And he puts his arm around me and we're walking and he starts talking to me and then he just threw me to the ground. And I could not understand what the fuck just happened. I was like, wait, this is so weird. Why would anybody do that? I didn't understand. I mean, I'm first grade. I don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so the next day, we're at recess again, and the guy, we'll call him Pat, he goes, dude, I am so sorry, bro. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. It was really rude. I really do want to be your friend. And I was like, oh, yes, I knew it. That was so weird. Like, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so he put his arm around me and we're walking and he threw me to the ground again. And that was the first time that I had realized that the world is not easy. It's difficult. You have to build up your armor and protect yourself. So that was a downfall for me, but also it allowed me to become strong as a human being. And I say this story to go into the next part, which is because of that moment, I believe I started becoming a different person. I didn't trust people. I turned kind of, I wouldn't say a jerk, but I just wasn't me. Right. I changed that day. And that gave me a strength, but it also gave me a weakness in my life for like 26, 7 years. And so after that, let's move years later when I started having the entrepreneurial mindset, or when I started realizing that I had this entrepreneurial mindset. So because I had to kind of pivot how I acted in the public and be careful, I started noticing a trend with other things like starting businesses. You open a business in when I was I was making paper airplanes and selling those like when I was a kid. I always had my hands in something. And so when I quit school, high school at maybe 17, and I started a company selling speakers out of the back of my SUV. And then I opened up a store at a mall, and both of these failed, by the way. And there's a bunch of learning stuff that happened there. But what I realized from all of this, the kind of the moral that I'm trying to get to here is all of it is a moment in time that you have to overcome to get to the next level. So when that guy pushed me down twice, I had to learn something, and I didn't for a long time. I did, however, pivot how I was in society, and it helped me in a sense in the long run, but it also hindered me because I didn't understand why I was doing it. I kind of took the good with the bad on that one. But later on I kind of realized after failing a bunch of times in business, I mean, my first successful business wasn't until 2015. And so 18, so let's see, was that 2003 or 4 to 2015, however many years that is. My first, like the start of my first successful business. Like I wasn't successful right away. I was not at all. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when you fail or when something happens to you in life, you have to extract the lesson from it and become better. Because if you're like me, when you get pushed down, you give up and you never trust anybody again. That's not the right way. When you fail at a business and you think, well, I'm just not good enough or smart enough, well, that's just not the right way. When you learn and extract that information, the lesson, that is how you become stronger. And so all the failures, all those things that happened in my life, ultimately, not giving up. And I'll tell you, I gave up, at that point. And then I also gave up again after I failed a bunch of times in business. I went and got a job because people are saying, stop going after your dreams, man. You're just wasting your time. Right. And I started to look, and there's people that are managers of restaurants or, whatever people do out there in the world. for work. You know, as time is going on, you know, they're climbing through a company while I just keep failing. Boom, boom, getting smacked in the head over and over again. And at some point, right, nowadays, you can go on YouTube and you can be like, give me some inspirational like knowledge. Like, what is it like to start a business? How, like, you know, nobody ever told me that you got to keep going and keep trying and never give up. Eventually you'll hit it. Nobody ever told me that. So in those days, it was kind of just you're alone and you have to make a decision of, am I going to move forward or am I going to listen to anybody else? And luckily, I had this fucking lion in me that was like, dude, you can never quit. I don't care what happens, you can never quit. I don't know how to explain what that is, and I don't think everybody has it, to be quite honest. Everybody can do it, but I just don't think everybody has that inside of them. Because, dude, you could run me over, and I'll scrape my ass right up off that ground. I might be down and out for a bit, but eventually I come back swinging, even harder than the last time. So I went and got a job for a few years. I gave up. Luckily, like I was saying, you can't hold me down. So I decided one day, I was at my now wife, her bar, or that the bar that she worked at, and I said, "Hey, what do you think if we start, you know, this cleaning company?" And she goes, "Yeah," because she's ride or die. Like she's down for whatever. She's always held me down, no matter what my dreams or goals are. She's like, "Yep, that's fine. Let's do it." And so that was me. I was working at a restaurant and I was actually climbing up through the restaurant. I was having a good time, but it just wasn't good enough for me in the sense of, you know, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So um I didn't give up on myself. I kept betting on myself, even though everybody else told me that, you know, get a regular job, stop playing games, all that self doubt, not knowing who you are, being lost in the world, feeling like you're on an island, all of that I've felt. And I just kept going anyway, not knowing, like, people now can see that it's possible. And I don't know if it's the way I grew up or the lack of internet or whatever it was, but there was no fucking, hey, I can get here. It was like, you might as well tell me, yeah, for you to get there, it's a 1 in a bazillion chance.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought, and that's what everybody around me said. But I still went after it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you know, you can look up online, become a success in 24 hours or less, some shit like that, right?
You can ask artificial intelligence, how do I become successful overnight?
Yeah, you want to be a
Chat GPT in
copywriter?
15 seconds will give you a perfect answer.
It's unbelievable, brother. So it's a lot different now. So the moral, I guess, of the entire story that I'm trying to get is overcoming the negative identities that you create for yourself and that others create for you. Realizing your true potential and going after what I believe is anything truly is possible. And I'm talking even the weird shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, anything is possible, I believe. And through all of my travels in reading, you know, and learning, I've what I now call having an unlocked mind. This is how I think. I don't scoff at anything. I don't you know, think that something is impossible. I'm always open to the possibilities of something. And I understand how the world works. Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say I understand how the world works, but I see things differently than most human beings. So it's like this unlocked mindset. And I think most entrepreneurs, when they hit a certain point, that's what happens, because it's like, you opened up you're seeing backstage, you've opened up the curtains, you see the secrets, and you start putting shit together, and you look around and you're like, damn, like this is crazy. It's like a hamster wheel going on everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's truly powerful. So I guess what I would tell people, if they could learn anything from this, is don't give up on yourself. Always bet on yourself. You are truly amazing, and you can do anything that you want to do, and you can overcome being a nobody that nobody wants to be around. And just because people don't want to be around you doesn't mean that you aren't great. You just got to find the right people, and just keep pushing yourself, keep reading and learning. All the knowledge is out there for you to have. And I still sometimes feel like I'm not good enough. And every single day I tell myself that I am. And I look in that fucking mirror every single day and I say, I am a fucking lion. Because what that represents is ferocity. That represents wisdom. These are the things that I want. Patience, love. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the deal, man.
I've never heard someone say an unlocked mind. I've heard my wife, Helen, she was a second grade teacher for a couple of years when I met her first. And she would always say they teach the lesson fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And I was always like, that's fucking awesome. Like that you're teaching little kids like the difference between, like you said, be like, I can't do that because that's fixed, or growth, which is like, it might be hard, but maybe I can, just like all the possibilities that come with that, which is a cool lesson. But unlocked mind is, I think, it feels even more powerful to me than growth mindset, because growth is kind of like, it's like that you're constantly going up, which great in theory, like that, okay, probably possible again with a growth mindset, probably, but an unlocked mind is like unlimited possibilities to go in any direction that you want. And with that, you will go down occasionally, and like you might have to take a couple steps back because that's life, you get knocked down. But with an unlocked mind, you can pick yourself right back up and choose to go higher the next time. Like you said, you can knock me down, but I'm going to come back swinging even harder than the last time. It's a really cool way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's really just seeing behind the curtain, and realizing what's really possible.
Yeah,
And, man, and I'll tell you, like every time I talk about the unlocked mind, people respond the way that you do.
I believe it.
If they just are like, holy shit, I get
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like it clicked. It's like that's exactly what the difference is. Like you could walk through life kind of like in a cage inside your like heart, soul, mind, and not ever like experience life for what it should be because it's locked. Or you get to like click, it's unlocked, and all of a sudden it's like possibilities are endless. And like you said, you believe anything is possible, even the far out crazy shit that some people would be like, that's not possible. Like, no, it's possible. Like it might be highly unlikely, but it's possible. Like that's the difference. Like it might take you 10, 15, 30 years to achieve it, but it is possible. That's a cool way to look
yeah.
at everything.
If you told my meme, which is like a grandmother,
Yeah.
if you told her, when she was 20 years old, that in 50 years or whatever it is, they're gonna have this phone that is in your hand that's not connected to anything,
Yeah. It just floats.
literally look any single thing up on the planet on, she would tell you that you're nuts,
Yeah.
right? Yet it happened.
And here we are.
People say that that's not possible, or whatever it is isn't possible. It just,
Yeah.
to me, it makes more sense that it is,
Yeah.
because of the past.
Agreed. Yeah.
Back and see that shit. That, I mean, if you really think about it, dude, you have a friggin' phone. There's nothing connected to it,
It
bro.
just, yeah.
See it. It still doesn't make sense. Like, I
Yep.
don't understand how that works.
Yep. I'll go right there with you. But it
So if
works.
it's possible, then why isn't anything else?
Yeah.
Anyway,
If you were, let me ask you this question as we kind of wrap up here. If you were you today and you were in a playground watching your second, would you say second grade or whatever grade it was, kindergarten, whatever, you were younger, and you got knocked down a second time, what would, like, if you had an opportunity, like, and that kid was on the ground, like slowly picking himself up, looked defeated, what would you go over and say to that kid? Because you said that not negatively impacted you, but had an impact on you that was hard, like that stuck with you for almost 20 years. That's a long time to have like an experience kind of defined a perspective or like a reality that you live in. To not have that 20 years be that, what would that conversation look like?
Well, I think there's two things to it. One, it did impact me. I mean, there was other things, right? Because I
Yep.
went into the world loving, and I was like, everybody's gonna be like me,
Trusting. Yeah.
and whatever.
Yep.
Not like that in the world. Motherfuckers are violent, scary, mean, right? So I said, well, if these people are gonna be like that, well, then I need to be meaner, more violent, more aggressive,
Yeah.
protect myself. So that's why I say it's a double-edged sword, because in one sense, I came away from that loving human being who I am now. I'm back to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can still be a violent motherfucker if I need to be.
Yep.
So it's good and bad.
Yeah.
But before it was just that I was the other dude, but it was like the nice guy was kind of pushed down, like get it
Yeah.
away from me. I don't, you know what, you got me before, is knocked down.
Yeah.
So, I learned a lot. So that's why I say it's good and bad, because I learned on one side to protect myself in a sense, but then I was closed off to everything around me. I was
Yeah.
only focused on myself. So, what would I say to him? That's a great question, man. I remember in high school, I walked up to him and I told him I was going to knock his teeth in, because that was in first grade, and I saw him and he
Yeah.
was shaking.
Yeah.
So, but I felt bad for him,
Yeah.
because who knows why he did that. Maybe he had something going on. I don't know. If it were me today, I would probably just talk to him about it and be like, hey man, like, I don't know. I'd either knock him out or I would say, hey man,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Walk
Like,
walk up to him and see if he puffs his chest out and acts tough, knock him the fuck
yeah,
out. But if he
yeah.
seems like he's a good guy and like learned some stuff and open to feedback, have a good conversation with him.
I'll give you the real answer. I would knock his teeth in.
Yeah.
If he put his hands on me, I would knock his teeth in immediately, like not even blink.
Yeah.
Because if anybody starts violence with me, in my mind, bro, I feel like I'm getting shot, stabbed. I have to
Yeah.
protect myself and my family.
Yeah.
So that's the real answer.
Yeah. Dude, I love what you said because there's a quote out there and I'm not even going to begin to remember it, so I'm not even going to try to quote it, but it's along the lines of like, and I'm going to screw this all up, but like a real man is like kind, caring, sincere, warm, welcoming, but has the ability, like has an animal in him that if the switch has to happen, can become a complete savage at like the drop of a dime. And that's you now, but like you said, when that stuff was happening and for 20 years, it was kind of like flipped on its head, which was like savage mode constantly was like ruling your life. And then that kind, sweet, welcoming, loving dude was the one that was suppressed and like kind of hidden in the background. And then it flipped to now where it is, where I think it should be, and probably where you're thriving and living your best life because of it.
Yeah, and just to be real, like I wasn't like somebody who fought a lot or did any
Yeah.
crazy, but I was in that mindset. So and living that lifestyle of, we won't even get into what the heck I was doing, but yeah, man, I think I've heard Jordan Peterson talk about that, where
Yeah.
I think it's a similar kind of quote.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's a great quote, man, and I agree with that 100%. Nowadays, I'm just super chill, and like I'm just focused on loving and giving and helping and
Yep.
earning, learning, and all these different things. So I'm a nice lovable teddy bear. That's fun and get a family and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm like this.
Menace to society. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, where can people find you online if they want to connect with you, work with you, any of that stuff?
Everything is like TikTok, Ryan the Lion VO, Facebook, Ryan the Lion VO, but also like if you want my personal page, which is I'm more active on, it's I think R Van Orden 86.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why that one's like that, but it is. And yeah, that's if you want to reach out, hit me up. I do I should probably tell you guys what I do now, which is I don't know if we do that here, but you
Yeah,
can
go for it.
not. I build custom CRMs with my business partner Kyle Reed and various other businesses, but that's the kind of the one. You know, so
Specific industries that you specialize in, or anybody?
it's on high ticket offers with coaches, any sort of coaches,
Okay.
home service businesses,
Okay.
but we've done literally everything. So
Okay. Remind me after the call. I'm going to reach out because we work with a couple home service, like home improvement companies, remodeling companies. And we're getting more and more into that niche. So be a good offer for our clients too.
dude, I got you, brother.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you, Brian, man, my brother, my fellow Lion, for being on the show. I know I made you a little nervous prior to hitting the record button because you're like, shit, what am I going to talk about? I thought this was different. I'm like, sorry, dude, we're going. We're hitting the record button. So I think you knocked it out of the park with the value you brought.
Hell yeah. Well, I hope that I was able to give somebody value, and
You did.
I like there was no way I was rescheduling, bro. It was happening.
I appreciate that, man. Awesome. If you, like I said in the beginning, if you watch this episode, got any value, please share it with a friend, family member, anybody you think the message would resonate. We're just out here planting seeds, trying to bring some inspiration to the world, make the world a better place. So thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Ryan, thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate all of you.
Perfect.
In the battlefield.